Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Edward here, back with another weekly outlook, and starting with the DXY this week. Jesus Christ, Donald Trump has started again with these tariffs. So we already saw this week a lot of volatility, crazy volatility, and we might actually continue with this thing this upcoming week here. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to start first on currency pairs. And then I'll work the way up to gold and indices and probably Bitcoin as well, since Bitcoin this week broke record highs. So let's get started on DXY right here. Just understanding, right? The DXY, when the dollar index goes down right here, we can see Euro USD pretty much going the opposite, right? So on the weekly time frame, let's see actually how we closed last month. Strongly bearish. We've been falling, right, for a couple months. Now on the weekly, how we closed, it looks like we retrace, right? You can see that rejection, that pin bar right here. Did the candle close? Barely close below, and we're having already a rejection to the upside. So we closed bullish right here. So we're probably going to be expecting expansion or continuation at least towards this high this upcoming week. Once we sweep that, we have to see what is going on here. What we understand is we recently swept this low. There is no imbalance right here. The only imbalance that we can see is this one that we respected, right? And we've been pretty much on the way down. Let's go on the daily, see if we have something cleaner. Well, on the daily, we see that, yeah, we're still dropping right here. We're having a pullback. Let's see if this is going to be just a continuation here all the way down. So using the Fibonacci understanding, where price is pulling back to premium. We do, did we sweep or we created relative equal highs? Looks more like relative equal highs right there. Barely sweep it before starting displacing to the downside. So this structure, I don't like this separation of the candles. There's too many gaps right here. So definitely not a fan of that, but probably the way this thing is going, right? Because we still having the movement from that weekly gap right here. We're still going lower, right? We've been creating lows, highs, lows, highs, lows, highs. So we're probably going to continue. Maybe what we're going to have here, we may actually push up a little bit more to then eventually drop back again. So expecting probably something like that. There is a big inefficiency here, but it's all of this drop was kind of weird already with these gaps. So if I go to the 4 hour, it's probably going to be a little choppy, yeah. But we are in this little uptrend right here. So I think we're going to definitely continue pushing up a little bit more. We are already tapping the premium area. So watch out, especially OTE right here. That's the fire zone right there. So from there, we can expect probably a drop back down. So let's see what's going to happen with that this week. Alrighty, let's go back now on Euro USD. Let's go on the weekly. What the price has been doing again, notice that it's doing the opposite, right? That DXY, the dollar index, has been doing. You can see that recently we had that fair value gap. Price pulled back, rejected it, creating another imbalance right here. Respecting that, we broke above. So we keep expanding, but notice how we close. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Notice how we close this week, right? We pull back. We actually close below this low, so I'm expecting probably continuation a little bit, continuation to the downside, probably to take this low, maybe manipulate that low, and then continuation back up. I don't see any inefficiency. Notice on the weekly time frame, there is no more fair value gaps right here. No more bullish fair value gaps. So we could have either an aggressive buy as soon as the price sweeps this low. Boom, we could expand, right? Or we may go lower, trying to reach discount, right? So gotta watch out for that. We go on the daily time frame. Look at this recent impulse, right? Been pushing out for look at how many days, and then started to pull back. So we can also use same fib, maybe from this recent swing. See, we are not in discount yet, so I like the recent structure. It's been quite bullish. So this is something as well that we could expect. Price continuation to the downside to get into discount, and from here continuation to the upside. So let's see what's going to happen this week. It's very important, by the way. We have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have CPI. So it's very important to understand news, right? Today is the 12th. By the time I'm recording this, is actually Saturday. Markets are not open yet. So this upcoming week, we are going to have CPI on Tuesday, PPI on Wednesday, and core retail sales on Thursday. Friday, Monday, we don't have news. I believe it's a holiday. I was seeing some news. It's a holiday, bank holiday or something like that in France. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a bank holiday as well. I don't think so in the United States. But anyways, I will be checking anyways. So probably the euro on Monday, it's going to be moving. It's going to be moving a little slow. But anyways, probably expecting something like that. All right. We're going to be seeing what the price is going to do, right? Next week, I will come back to this pair to see what the price did. Let's go on GBP, USD here. Notice the difference, kind of, right? Still similar to Euro USD, but again, going the opposite as the dollar index. So GBP USD has been also pushing quite strong. I like what it's been doing right here. Notice that it's been respecting bullish fair value gaps. Really nice. Up to this point right here, notice that big push, but all of a sudden something happened right here, right? Now this week is the one that dropped, and I want to say probably is because of the tariffs, Donald Trump, of course. So notice that we had the last week we sweep and retrace back down. We were expecting these lows to be taken. Those lows were definitely taken. Now we see a body of the candle closing below the previous week low. So that means we're expecting continuation to the downside, at least to that low. And if not, probably is going to go all the way down there. There's no fair value gaps right here. Anything, it's a sign that we're having a potential reversal. Maybe price is going to go now for lows. Maybe the intention, there we go, of the market is to point lower. I mean, you might actually pay attention a little bit here anyway, since we are in OTE. But again, be careful, especially Monday, since it is a holiday in some of the countries from Europe. So don't know how GBP, USD, or some currency pairs are going to be moving on Monday. So probably it's going to be a little slow. So anyways, what am I expecting from this? I believe, based on what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame, I think we are at least, of course, going to take that low. And this is a very good chance price might actually go for a sell side. It looks like it's aiming for that. Yeah. Notice this on the daily, by the way. Notice the structure that we just had here. Boom. Price pierced into this. Let's go to 4 hour. Notice this structure was actually very, very clean. Right here. Notice price pushed, tapped the daily. This daily imbalance here. Manipulated this highs right there. And then displaced to the downside. I see a little fair value gap right here on a 4 hour. Hang on. Let me see if I can extend this. There you go. Right there. So notice that we displace, manipulation, displacement, price pulling back. From there, another displacement and another respect. Right there. Boom. Right? More fair value gaps right here. Bearish fair value gaps. We have this too. It looks like the final one right there got also respected. And then another expansion, another fair value gap. It was nicely done. Every single fair value gap right here to the downside, you could have traded this one. All of them. Right? Probably you're getting nice setups right here in lower time frame. Let's see what we got. Well, actually, we had right there, maybe on the 15-minute, because this is a pair, currency pair, GBP USD. It actually moved. What time was this? This was actually Asian session. Look at this drop during Asian session. So again, manipulation, and then it was a huge change in the state of delivery. Price pullback. Pulling back here, leaving this fair value gap. This was a nice imbalance right there. Never tapped it though. It was a breakaway gap. Then price just kept going and going. So strongly, it's looking very, very strongly bearish. So I'm seeing this as a nice draw on liquidity, probably for this week. So let's see what's going to happen anyways. That's my bias for GBP USD. Now, GBP JPY, let's see what is currently doing as well. Notice we're having also an expansion, but these candles, I'm not a fan right here because they have, look at the size of these wicks, huge long wicks right there. There's a lot of damage going on in this push to the upside. Yeah, the trend is up, but there's so many wicks. Inversion right here. Nice respected. Once that candle closes above, this candle try to break below, respecting that inversion, then tapping it again. So we're expanding to the upside. After that, look, notice that the actual whole trend, the only fair value gap right here, bullish, is this little one right here. Then after that, I don't see any other bullish fair value gap on the weekly. So let's go by this candle. How did this candle close? Well, candle closed actually above this high, ended up taking this high as well, but probably we're expecting this highs to be taken. This lows should be protected in theory. Let's go on the daily. This is what I'm saying, right? Look at this push on the daily, and we got this fair value gap. Looks like we are respecting it. I don't like that daily candle, right? It's very volatile. This pair GBP JPY, it tends to have a lot of wicks. Again, it is very tricky sometimes because it's looks like it's very manipulated. Notice this, right? This is not telling me much right there. This is uncertainty. So for me, I don't have. If you ask me what's my bias for this, I don't have a clear bias on the daily. It's not that clear. Yeah, we are tapping that daily, so I kind of want to, go up. I would like to see the price push up, but because it retraced back down and failed to close above, it's not telling me much. Look at this, right? When I go to the 4 hour, this is choppy. This is very choppy right here on the 4 hour now. So it's telling me that it maybe it could go to manipulate one more low before maybe pushes up. So maybe expecting something like this to manipulate that and maybe go there, probably. But to be honest, with this pair right now, I like the imbalance, but I don't like that candle from Friday. I really don't like it. So it's a tricky one. We may still be in this little choppy condition. So keep an eye anyways. Keep an eye. if you're interested in looking for buys. Just probably wait for a manipulation again. And then if you get a change in the state, right, you can go long. My next probably favorite pair are USD. Right now, it is not looking that good either. Look at this week's, and I'm on the weekly time frame. Look at this side. Look at how many weeks right now. This is looking pretty bad. I don't like it. That weekly candle, I don't like it. It is going up, but boy, it is. Look at this. As soon as it gives a big bullish candle and then bearish, right? And then big momentum again, but it's really struggling right now. The conditions for this pair, I'm not liking at the moment. Remember that markets, all markets, and I'm saying all markets, literally all markets, they go through different conditions, right? There's some really good times for different pairs, right? Or indices, commodities. They go through a very nice uh, season, right? And the market will show clear setups. But there are other times where market is going to be completely shit, you know? Talking about and one, like, let's say if you only want to trade one single pair, brother, it's very difficult. If you want to marry one pair, it's very difficult because one of those pairs will eventually have a bad season, a very bad season, and it's going to be very difficult to find good setups. It doesn't matter what strategy you're using. You're using ICT, support, resistance. It doesn't matter. So this pair, I really don't have I want to say probably still continue bullish, but holy smokes, stay away probably, right? Because of how choppy this is. Look, notice the size of the wicks. I really don't like the structure. I will show you once I jump into indices, for example, like Nasdaq, S&P, what it looks like. But right now, I really don't like that pair. And USD JPY is the next one. So as you can see right here, we exploded this past week, had a big momentum candle to the upside after having this pin bar, right? That pin bar right there was telling us, was sort of predicting the push, right? Sort of the reversal. So I know for sure we're probably going to be targeting those highs and maybe eventually this highs, right? That candle is what is telling me. We go on the daily, you see what the price did. Nice respect. Nice pin bar right here. Probably having a good setup this day. Let's see if we would have actually a good setup in here to trade. And probably lower time frame, 1 hour, 15 minute, probably 15-minute time frame. Since understand this, it's since the price tapped this higher time frame fair value gap, right? We're having expansion to the upside. We have in an inversion fair value gap right here. Let's see if we can get buys and probably target these highs. Let's see if we get a setup and maybe some sort of sell side liquidity right here, and then a buy setup. I don't know, or it went just too quick. It went very quick, and this is on a 1 hour. So we did sweep though. Let's go to 15-minute. See if we get. And what time did this happen? This happened Asian session. So of course it's a JPY pair. So notice that price did manipulate, sweep, but there was an explosion right here. So that's a change in the state of delivery. If you wanted to enter, you could have entered there aggressively, or you wait for a price to pull back and you place a buy limit order right here, right? Or you enter as soon as that candle closes, which normally I kind of do. Most of the times right now, I'm actually entering, placing aggressive buys, sort of like that. As soon as I have a change in the state, boom, I enter. I don't wait for the retest. If price pulls back and it does retest, well, I can make a re-entry right there. But other than that, I'll take aggressive shots. But that was a good push right there, right? So expansion, right? Probably expecting continuation. I really like how price is looking, expecting this highs eventually these highs to be taken for that. It's looking good, definitely, for sure. All right. So let's go to the next pair. Before I jump into indices, I want to go on gold. Then I'll check Bitcoin. So this is what it's doing. Let's go ahead and check at the moment, see where it is. Let me clean some of these old lines. When it comes to gold, I like to mark psychological levels. I don't know. It's just a way I like trading gold. But notice we're definitely sideways, right? On the daily, we're sideways. And it kind of makes sense. We've been flying since holy smokes, 2019, 2020. We chopped for a little bit right here, right? We chopped until 2024. So since 2020, 2024, 4 years right here in this range, right? And then we skyrocket. Literally, I mean, we went from 2024 all the way to now in less than a year. What months with this? March till March 2025. Here, there's a year. Yeah, and a year and a couple months. Yeah, that big push, right? Incredible. It was at a $2,000 per ounce. Now it's at $3,500 per ounce. So we are choppy. Okay, a little moving sideways right now. We kind of stuck between 3,300, 3,400 range, right? We're moving sideways. If we see on the daily right here, what do we see? What do we have? Well, it looks like it's finding support, right? Pretty strong on the 3,300. So the way I trade gold, or I like to analyze it, is understanding, right? The price is finding a very good support. Look for how long it's been in this support right here. Where's that price at? 3,300, right? Every $100, I like to put a zone, a level, an imaginary zone, right? It's psychological. So every $100 on gold, I use it as a psychological level. It's an important zone. So price has been holding this 3,300. Price has been holding it pretty strong, right? But we can also see there is a resistance right above the 3,400, right? So we have a support right here and a resistance at the top. We're currently showing that price is bouncing off again from the 3,300. Did we sweep recent liquidity? No, we created relative lows. Watch that, because that's liquidity right there, right? Since this is a support, there's a lot of money or stop losses placed here. The algorithm knows that, right? So eventually it's going to run through that, right? However, on a daily time frame, I'm getting that expansion after this recent drop, right, from these lows, and we're getting a very big explosion here to the upside. So that looks interesting. On the 4-hour time frame, let's see what we got. On the 4-hour, well, not looking that good. We see that we actually swept this high. I don't know. I think the way this thing is going, I want to see if we come back to retest, right? This block right here. In this area, right? There is no inversion fair value gap. There's nothing right here. Are we respecting maybe some old one, some old inversion right here? Could be this, that could act, but anyways, because of that huge momentum candle to the upside, I'm kind of still more bullish. So I want to see price take that high, and I want to see gold do not take this low. I want to see this high being taken first, and this low should be respected in theory, right? So probably, let's see how price is going to open on Sunday. I don't know if we're going to be coming back down here, and then probably continuation. I don't know if it's going to go all the way. to 3,400. But it definitely shifted, right? It was bearish for a moment, and it looks like we are gaining strength to get back up. So we got a shift in the structure. That's what it looks like from here. So, anyways, I think probably this week we might be seeing some buying pressure. But in overall, again, gold may stay in this range for a little bit more time. Since we've been strongly bullish, so we're very overbought. So we're going to slow down a little bit. I think it's slowing down. That's just what it's doing. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Everybody has been scared of Bitcoin, saying, "Oh my God, it's gonna crash now." And again, notice I also use psychological levels on Bitcoin, right? Especially every $10,000. So notice that when a price pulled back after reaching the 110, pull back to 100, found support, fair value gap right here, hold price, boom. We have 3 weeks pushing up right now. Straight, we're almost at 120. By the end of this year, I definitely believe we're going to be at 150 to $200,000 on Bitcoin. And I think the market cap, the size of the market cap right now on Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, is bigger than Amazon. I think I saw somebody doing a review or something. I'm not a crypto guy, by the way. Not a crypto guy. I like to watch it anyways, and buy here and there from time to time. So this is a big push from 110 to almost 120. So maybe expect a little pullback correction, perhaps. There's an efficiency here, big gap. Let's see if price probably it's gonna do a little correction, a little something here before expanding, right? But one thing I tell you, there's a lot of people trying to buy right now because they say, "Oh, 110, oh my God, this is the time to buy." No, this is actually the time to sell. People who enter at 110, they're taking profits right now. They're securing some profits at least, taking some of the money. People who enter at 100K, they're securing right here. Big guys, I'm talking big guys. Now, beginners, when they see price at the top, that's when they buy, and price is about to probably pull back, right? And when the prices start to pull back, they get scared, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so stupid, I bought one, so I'm gonna close." When they close, they lose their money, right? That's when they lose. If you hold, I mean, because there's different ways, right? There's like placing an entry, for example, buying right now and placing a stop, let's say right here, right? And then targeting the 1/3. That's one way of trading Bitcoin. The other way is just simply go on a crypto exchange and just put $100 in there, $200, $1,000, $2,000, depending on your budget, right? You put money, you just simply buy. Don't sell. When you get scared, just hold. There's a long term and a short term, right? I believe the safest thing to trade or to buy Bitcoin is long term, not short term. Short term is very volatile and it's more scary, right? To do it short term. Like I'm telling you, like if you wanna like just ICT for example, concepts, or buy from support, and trading this way, Bitcoin, it's more scary, right? And more risky. Like instead, just simply putting money into it, just every time the price is low, buy. Don't buy right now. Just wait for price to probably get lower. You already know what's the highest point right now, 117. If price pulls back to 114, 113, 110, those are the zones that you might want to be buying from there, you know? So but this is more like a long term. You keep buying. You see how much money does the president from El Salvador has since he bought Bitcoin, right? For the first time, everybody was like, "Why are you buying?" Nobody believed him, and then he has like $700 million worth of Bitcoin, and just like I think it's 700 if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, yeah, just hope it makes sense. Let's go ahead and now into my favorite pairs, my favorite indices that I trade every single day, and this is gonna be Nasdaq and S&P 500. So recently we saw price broke record highs, right? Why? Well, most right now, I think Nvidia also broke record highs. Look at this. This is Nvidia stock, right? We're skyrocketing, right? Had a big major pullback, right? And this, I think, this was the with the tariffs and everything at the beginning of the year, right? But now we're just we took it all back. We're flying, and that was expected, because that it's a tech company. They create chips. Microsoft also record history. Look at this trend right here on Microsoft since 1986. This was one of the safest companies to be investing, definitely. So these two big companies in record histories, market cap right here, it's insane right now on Nvidia. But anyways, Nasdaq is of course breaking record highs as well. So what do we have here on the weekly time frame? How did we close? Pin bar, quite slow. Donald Trump started now again with these fears, with this tariffs, and the trade war started again. So having a failure to close above that high, closing a pin bar, what do you think price is going to go? Most likely, we're going to be going lows, right? We're going to be going there, probably this, because there is a fair value gap right here, right? Inefficiency that we recently left behind. So I want to see if we can target. I think we're going to have shorts this week, at least that weekly low. I'm gonna call it weekly low. Let's go to the daily. Now on the daily, we started to see choppy, right? It's like, look at where price closed right here. So we are in this choppiness right there, right? Not moving much. So, but however, we did sweep the high. Liquidity to the upside, buy side taken. I'm expecting price to go at least to this low. However, notice that the candle from Friday, right? It's a failure, has a failure, did not close below, right? So that is kind of telling me that because it failed to close below, the daily time frame is telling me that we might actually go the opposite, right? We might actually go to the daily high, right? That's what the daily is telling me. Let's go 4 hours. Look at it. Look at this. It's very choppy. I don't have a 100% clear bias for this week, to be honest. I want to see what's going to happen once the market opens, of course, on Sunday. Because this is choppy. This is very, very choppy. It is very choppy. So daily high right there. I think we might actually go for the daily high on the daily time frame. On the weekly, based on the pin bar, you saw, remember the pin bar, right? How we close that candle right there. By the way, we have a gap, a big gap right there, another gap right here. So I'm seeing the price actually going lower. To be honest, I'm seeing price going lower on the weekly. But when I go on a daily, it looks like it might actually go up as well. So I want to see anyways. Once it opens, I really don't have a clear bias for Nasdaq. It's my favorite pair to trade, but it's kind of tricky this week how it closed. So if we go on S&P 500 on the weekly time frame, it's kind of looking similar, right? They are correlated pairs. So we did break history highs as well. And we do have a gap here again, inefficiency here. And you see fail to close above. So I think price is going to go for these lows, for that weekly right there. Daily, again, similar to Nasdaq. I would have loved to see a divergence here at the top, but we did not see a divergence. Divergence tells me that we're going to have probably a reversal. But because I didn't see divergence, right? Since Nasdaq also swept the high, I don't have divergence at the top. So, and again, notice on the daily, failed to close below. We're expecting probably price to go towards the highs on the daily, but on the weekly, right? This lows of the weekly. So it's kind of difficult. So I want to see how market is going to open this Sunday. If there's any news throughout the weekend that Donald Trump said something, I haven't seen any news right now by this time, so I will be checking anyways, and I will keep you guys updated if I see something in particular setup. Make sure to watch me, follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Telegram. I do have all the links in the description below. Make sure to check them out. Discord as well, free Discord. And if you want to be part of my team, where I actually trade live every day with my students, especially Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays when I go live. They can see me trade live on Discord or on Zoom. Sometimes I use both platforms. You can see me trade. You can see me execute the trades. What do I trade? I trade ICT concepts mainly. My favorite pair to trade is Nasdaq. I scalp on a 5-minute time frame. And here's to show you basically what my there's still some need a couple more updates, but this is my tracking history. This I'm going to show you how my last week. This was my last week, right? Well, this week because we're still in this current week right now. So I literally just closed the week with $296. Notice my win rate. I'm going to be making a video about my actual winning rate and showing you that win rate on a strategy, you really don't need many people is focusing or trying to look for a holy grail in a strategy that gives you 80% winning rate. I think it's BS. There's no strategy that can give you 80-90% winning rate. It's ridiculous. I don't think it's possible. I've had very bad weeks. Notice this week, 27% win rate. 27%, notice, right? How is it that I'm able still to close in profits, right? Risk management. I will be making a video showing you, so let me know, thumbs up, and leave your comments below if you want to see this video next. Talking about risk management, my risk management technique that I use with ICT concepts. It might actually help you because again, this is everybody's different. Everybody trades different. Every trader is different. You get your own. You create your own trading style. Even if you're trading ICT concepts, you will develop a different style than the one I have. Eh, that's how it is. So let me know in the comment section below if you want to see this video. Thumbs up. It will motivate me to continue posting content for you guys. I will see you next week with another weekly outlook. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.